Howdee-haie there folks, today I am going to be doing a October end of month film wrap up, just like my book wrap up if you've seen that. Didn't get too much films watched this month, or last month should I say, just because, you know, life gets in the way sometimes. You have to prioritise and stuff like that. So I managed to get 3 films watched, and I thought, you know, still enough to do a little mini review on all of them. So here it goes. So the first thing I watched was Tim Burton's Corpse Bride, and I shall read you what this is about. So, it's set in the 19th century European village. This stop-motion animated feature follows the story of Victor, a young man whisked away to the underworld and wed to a mysterious corpse bride, while his real bride, Victoria, waits bereft in the land of the living. Though life in the land of the dead proves to be a lot more colourful than his strict upbringing, Victor learns that there is nothing in this world, or the next, that can keep him away from his one true love. It's a tale of optimism, romance, and a very lively afterlife, told in classic Burton style. I've only seen this particular Burton film like once or twice. I know, I am shamed. And I had some real difficulty with this. Like my telly remote doesn't work for some reason, only some buttons are synced in, and I was trying, like the first language wasn't English for some reason. So I'm like racking my brain trying to figure out how I can watch this film in English without a working remote. So anyway, I decided to play it anyway just to see what would happen. It was in English, so I spent like an hour or half an hour or whatever trying to find out how I could solve this, and it didn't even need solving. So, music is amazing. All of Tim Burton's like film music is just catchy and glorious and wonderful, and this, without a doubt, is no exception. It was awesome. I feel like the artwork for this film is beautiful and blends perfectly with the time setting it's dated for. I think the dark tones and, you know, obviously the way they dress and stuff is very fitting for the period that it's in. I found that Lord Barkist, I think that's his name, the main villain, was very unsubtle in his ways, to the point that it was hilarious. I think that was intentional. If not, I still enjoyed it. It was great. He is actually one of the best voice actors in this film, because I found, which is surprising because it's Helen Bonham Carter and Johnny Depp, I found that they lacked emotion in this one. I don't know why. It just, they weren't as, I don't know, they weren't as emotional when in like speech and stuff as the villain was. I absolutely loved the humour in this. For example, the drunk skeleton in the underworld, that was great, very funny. It's just such a beautiful film and, you know, high entertainment. Really enjoyed this one. I ended up giving that 4 out of 5 stars. Next I watched The Dark Crystal. This is a bind up of The Labyrinth and Dark Crystal, but I watched The Dark Crystal. I ended up giving this 2 out of 5 stars because it wasn't what I was expecting. So I'll read you the synopsis again. Another planet, another time. 1,000 years ago, the mysterious Dark Crystal was damaged by one of the Ursuks, and the Age of Chaos begun. The evil race of grotesque bird-like lizards, the Skeksis, gnomish dragons who rule their fantastic planet with an iron claw. Did that even make sense? I don't know. Meanwhile, the orphan Jen, raised in solitude by a race of the peace-loving wizards called the Mystics, embarks on a quest to find the missing shard of the Dark Crystal, which gives the Skeksis their power and restore the balance of the universe. So I loosely remember watching this once when I was younger. I remember being frightened. I think it was because of the way the puppets looked or something. It just didn't sit right with my childish brain. Watching it back now, because I'm comparing it to Labyrinth, I know I shouldn't, but I am. It wasn't that awesome. I just found it flumped a bit for me. Maybe it needs another chance because, I mean, I didn't watch it entirely properly. I wasn't engrossed. I was doing other things, but from what I saw, it wasn't that enthralling. So like it didn't grip me as much as I had hoped it would, and what I was expecting, I don't really know. So yeah, very short, but that is 2 out of 5 stars. I think I will give it another chance. I mean, I've got it on DVD anyway, so I will rewatch it, but it just wasn't as great as I was thinking it was gonna be. Ah well. And lastly, I watched another BBC exclusive. This time it was on BBC Two, and it was a short film, and it was called The Dresser, and it's an hour and 45 minutes. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I've got the synopsis written down here. So it follows a touring Shakespearean theatre company, and we see how Norman struggles to support the head of the company, who's called Sir, despite his devotion to him as they try to carry on through World War II, which is obviously difficult because obviously a war's going on, but they're trying to thrive as a theatre company. The story backstage mimics the play of Lear and the Fool from Shakespeare's King Lear, which is also played by the company. So it's kind of like a back and forth thing, more towards the end half of the film, so we're going back to the scenes of them actually playing it, and in the backstage it's kind of mimicking those events. I didn't pick up too much on it, but there definitely were key points that was like happening in both aspects. Ian McKellen is in it, and that's why I was drawn to it. I literally saw it advertised on the day that it was like being shown, so I was like, oh, I'm on that shit, I'm gonna watch it. Didn't watch all of it because I was falling asleep, so I watched it the next day on catch up. But yeah, that is what drew me to it, and his acting was superb. I really like the fact that the majority of the scenes, especially in the first half, were just filmed in this little dressing room, and it was between Norman, played by Ian McKellen, and Sir, the head of the company, and you could really see just how awesome that acting was. Even though, for the greatest sense, the plot didn't grip me as much as I was expecting it to, I kind of just drifted in and out of the actual plot. The acting held me, and I think that focusing in just a small room really shows how good that acting was between the two, and you could really see the relationship between the two characters, and how Norman really wanted to help Sir, but you could just see Sir's deterioration and the sadness between that, and the frustration as well because of what was happening. Just the emotion, the sheer emotion that the actors gave, especially Ian McKellen, was phenomenal. Like, it was really, really good. I found it to be such a powerful film. Again, even though the story didn't enthrall me as much, the acting and just everything else, or that kind of adds to it, was very powerful. And I will mention as well that the end credits music was lovely. It was just really, really nice, and it fit the film beautifully, I suppose. Yeah. So yeah, kind of a short one, but that's all for today, and bye.